Hello, my name is Andrew Gary, and welcome to Seismic Sound Off, in-depth conversations in applied geophysics. This episode previews the 87th annual meeting in Houston at the George R. Brown Convention Center. I speak with General Chair Craig Beasley and Technical Program Chair Mihai Popovici. I also speak with SEG Exhibition and Sponsorship Sales Representative Teresa Dallis and SEG Executive Director Dorsey Morrow. SEG is honored to be the first large conference to take place in Houston following Hurricane Harvey and its devastating floods. Houston is dear to our hearts, and SEG wants to do everything it can to support the city while advancing the interests and needs of our members, attendees, sponsors, exhibitors, and presenters. Houston is open for business. Register today for annual meeting at seg.org/am. SEG Executive Director Dorsey Morrow, next. So preparing for this annual meeting has been a journey, not only at SEG, but for many of our members, and especially the residents of Houston and the surrounding area. What does it mean to you to be able to hold the SEG annual meeting in Houston this year?
Well, the world's desire to support Houston during this difficult time has been tremendous, and certainly SEG is no different. Houston's officials put out the call that they are open for business, and SEG is proud to be able to answer that call in a very positive manner. This event has been in the works for well over a year and will be a fantastic meeting, no doubt. However, the annual meeting is more than just a meeting. It's an opportunity to learn, grow professionally, reconnect personally, and deliver something to the host city. We want to be able to deliver that consistently every year, and even more so following a catastrophe like Harvey.
What are you most looking forward to at this year's annual meeting?
Well, since I'm not a geophysicist, the workshops are way over my head. But it sure has been interesting and educational for me to meet and learn from the brilliant people who do attend. There are so many great things to take away from our annual meeting. New technology, new techniques, networking, just various events, learning opportunities. However, for me, it has always been the personal connections that you make at these events. This will be my third annual meeting, and every year I meet more people and make more friends, both locally and internationally. It really is a professionally satisfying and, I guess fun event would be a good way to phrase it, to participate in.
What would you like to say to the SEG members and attendees, and what about those still undecided about attending?
I want every SEG member that is able to come out and show their support for a city that has really delivered a lot for the geophysics community. Don't let this once-a-year event slip by. While it will certainly take a while for the lives of many Houston residents to return to normal, the best way we can help make that happen is to make this a lively and engaging event and bring business back to the downtown area. This is just another opportunity for SEG to contribute to society, and I'm looking forward to seeing everyone in Houston.
The General Chair, Craig Beasley, next. When the SEG Board of Directors announced that SEG was going to go ahead as scheduled with the annual meeting, in their statement, they said that the society is developing plans to bring geophysicists and their expertise to local, state, and federal efforts to repair compromised infrastructure, including roads, bridges, overpasses, and dams. Do you have additional details you can share with attendees for those who want to be involved in the recovery efforts?
Yes, I'm not at the center of that action, but I can relate a little bit. The fact is that we're not, as SEG, particularly well suited for first responding to events. So in my mind, the best thing we can do as SEG members is donate our money to the professional organizations who are tasked with being the first responders. Now, past that, I don't know. There are groups of people who are getting together. There's going to be a post-convention workshop concerning this. Geophysicists have a lot they can bring to to action there. For example, remote sensing for damaged structures and things like this. And I really encourage them to see what they can come up with. What we did do is say, well, we can help in the remediation and preparation for disasters. And that's what actually that line of thinking is what brought us to develop Geoscientists Without Borders, which is going on towards its 10th year anniversary now. So it's been a very successful program, and I'm hopeful that these efforts might bear some fruit as well, but we'll just have to wait and see.
There will be presentations that Geoscientists Without Borders project leaders will be giving at annual meeting, as well as what you said, Craig, about donations. The Houston Food Bank will actually be on the exposition floor this year. So look out for that. It should be kind of right to the right as you're going in the main entrance.
Yeah, that's right. These are some of the things that, the Geoscientists Without Borders was on the program anyway. We try to have those papers every year because it's an ongoing thing with different projects. And yes, the ability to donate right on the floor is one of the things that we've done as a special measure for Hurricane Harvey. And there's others that I'm sure we can get into a little bit.
So kind of jumping into the events taking place at the annual meeting, what are a few of the features and events that you would like to spotlight in Houston?
Well, Hurricane Harvey takes center stage, and but I don't want to make the mistake of concentrating all of our spotlight and efforts on Hurricane Harvey. So we mentioned the donation booth. That will be there. I understand that the Wednesday night party is going to be quite a special event with some of the people from Houston. Maybe the mayor will show up and people from FEMA and so on. And so we're looking forward to that. But despite, all the things that we've done for Harvey, there's some other things that are very exciting that we've implemented at the meeting this year. So the first thing I would like to point out, I guess, is the opening event, which we've moved up to an earlier time. The goal, overriding goal in what I'm going to talk about here is to provide more value to both our exhibitors and to our members. And so we perceive a major element of the value chain would be to provide the time for exhibitors to do everything. So we want them to see the technical program. We want them to have time on the exhibit floor to visit the exhibitors, hear their technical talks, and see their products and services. And this has always been a difficult thing to manage. So what we've done this year, we're trying something new. We're going to, I say it's a difficult thing to manage because there's so much to do and so many competing forces there. What we're doing this year is to change a little bit the timing and of the technical program. So we're going to have a 2-hour uninterrupted lunch break in the technical program that will go from around noon until 2 o'clock. And so this is designed to allow our people who would like to tour the exhibition floor a little more, to have more time without missing elements of the technical program. And as another feature there, we've implemented a system now where our exhibitors will be asked to give their highlight pieces from their exhibit. So for example, their technical talks, we'll ask them for each day a time and a topic, and we will make up a schedule. We'll list these so that our attendees can now make a schedule to get around the booths and see during this 2-hour period, make sure that they get to see the technical offerings from the exhibitors. So this is a really exciting thing.
And one of the things that we're helping to facilitate that during those 2-hour lunch breaks is we'll actually open a second entrance as well that will be close to those presentations to help people get in and out as well instead of the one entrance. I believe it's door E is an Echo that will be open during that time as well.
Right. And so just let me go on. There's so many things I could talk about, but, I mentioned the opening session, and we've changed that around a little bit this year. I mentioned that it's going to start earlier, and the goal there is to finish up by 10 o'clock so that we have a good 2 hours on the first day, Monday morning, uninterrupted, Actually, it'll be 4 hours, I believe, from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. when the technical session starts. So again, good, solid, uninterrupted time on the floor for everyone. And I'd just like to highlight what's going to happen there. We'll have both the presidential address from our current SEG president, outgoing president at this meeting, Bill Abriel. And then we're very fortunate to have a featured speaker after him, who is Stephen Greenlee, who is president of ExxonMobil Exploration Company and vice president of ExxonMobil Corporation. So I've heard Mr. Greenlee speak personally before, and he's an excellent speaker, and will give an overview of what his view is of what's going on in our industry.
If this is someone's first time attending annual meeting, what can he or she expect?
Oh my gosh. The first thing I would say to people is find a mentor to help you around a little bit how you should budget your time. In particular, if you're in a certain area of study or research, look on the program and ask around for friends. Hey, who gives a really good talk, and what should I absolutely not miss in the technical program? And believe me, you'll get a lot of wisdom from people on that. It goes without saying that Houston is the center of the oil industry, or at least a lot of people believe it to be, and so we expect large numbers. So it'll be a big glittering event. Don't miss the icebreaker. Don't miss the Wednesday night party. Don't miss any of it, actually. There's so many things that you can do that are scheduled after the floor hours. All the university consortia have their individual meetings in different hotel rooms. There's committee meetings. I would encourage people the first time, young people, to look around at all the committees and sign up for one, to be a member of one of the committees and something that you're interested in, because that's how things really get done in the SEG.
What would you say to those individuals that are on the fence about meeting us in Houston?
Well, I don't know why anyone would really be on the fence at this point. We tried to get out communications as soon as we could that the meeting was a go, in particular thinking of our people coming from outside of Houston, because they're in a particularly difficult situation. Probably many of them have made their travel plans and had purchased non-refundable tickets and things like that. And so we realized there was probably a lot of anxiety going on there about what were they going to do. Other people who may be wondering about it, I guess, are people who are in Houston themselves on the ground. And if anyone is doubting that, the program, the convention may not be as vital as normal, I would just say the up-to-the-minute information that we received is that the registration is filling up for the GSH SEG joint icebreaker, which is on the Saturday night. It's at St. Arnold's Brewery, craft brewery here in Houston. So that's doing very well. And the other indication, the last I spoke with our technical program chair, Mihai Popovici, he hadn't had any cancellations yet in the technical program. So as near as I can tell, people who were planning to come to the technical program are coming. It's going to be an SEG meeting, and as usual, except that a number of our local members in Houston may be under a little bit of duress, or maybe some of them will not even be able to attend. I hope that's not the case, but our hearts go out to them if they're unable to do that, and we certainly understand.
Any words you would like to leave for possible and attendees of the annual meeting?
Well, of course, we can't forget the state of the industry, and I think everybody's going to be watching very closely to look for the green shoots of recovery in our business. It looked like it was turning up, I guess, a little bit, but it's been slow. I would just encourage everyone to come with a lot of energy, looking to use the time. It's the best thing a geophysicist can do, whether you're employed or looking for a job. Catch up on the technology, catch up on the commercial offerings from our exhibitors, and just above all, try to have a good time.
SEG Exhibition and Sponsorship Sales Representative Teresa Dallis next. Teresa, what are some of the major highlights on the exhibit hall this year?
We have a few pavilions on the floor, so we group together common exhibitors to help our attendees seek out common services. So we have our near surface pavilion that includes exhibitors that do engineering, environmental, groundwater, mining, geohazards, infrastructure, geothermal, archaeology, and agricultural applications. We also have our China pavilion, which features exhibitors that do business or are headquartered in China. We also have our High Performance Computing Pavilion that's produced by the Society of High Performance Computing Professionals. It includes services such as administration, analytics, applications, big data, cloud storage, security, supercomputing, visualization, and workstations.
What are some of the new advances and services being showcased on the exhibition floor?
So I'm really excited to announce that Google's a part of the exhibition. They're a first-time exhibitor with SEG. They're going to be showcasing their cloud tools, applications, maps, and devices within the HPC pavilion. Another new feature this year is we extended the 2-hour lunch break. So the theme, Focus on Commercial Technology, will include exhibitor presentations, and we've never done that in the past.
Wonderful. And what will be happening at the SEG pavilion this year?
So within the pavilion, you'll find staff and information from the Geophysical Society of Houston, the SEG Advanced Modeling SEAM, and they're celebrating 10 years, SEG Wiki, Geoscientists Without Borders, the SEG Student Lounge and Presentation Theater, the Foundation, and then Anaheim exhibit sales for 2018.
And speaking of Anaheim, not only are you finalizing plans for Houston this year, you are already thinking ahead to Anaheim. So what can exhibitors and attendees expect next year in Anaheim?
So for 2018, we're planning on doing a special outreach to near surface and big data companies to participate in the exhibition. We plan on expanding and rebranding the HPC Pavilion to include big data and other associated technologies. And we'll have some special sessions within the main technical program and commercial presentations by exhibitors.
Now, how can attendees stay connected to Houston to the latest annual meeting news and events during the event?
So we do have a mobile app. It's available in the Apple or the Android store. You simply search SEG Events. The app includes a really cool feature that you can customize your schedule. You can add technical sessions and then notes from exhibitors that you visit in the expo hall. It also has a really cool feature that's called What's On Now. It provides a page of current exhibits happening the moment you open the app.
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, any parting wisdom for attendees to consider meeting us in Houston?
The City of Houston and the George R. Brown Convention Center want to extend a sincere thank you to the SCG members who will attend and support the City of Houston. Houston is open for business and they're ready for SCG.
The Technical Program Chair, Mihai Popovici, next. You know, with all the concurrent sessions going on and attending annual meeting for so many years, if someone is looking for recommendations on talks or speakers, maybe outside of just their subject, is there ways that they can find and learn who is a really good speaker on a subject, or maybe how to stretch themselves a little bit from their subject matter?
Well, that's what you ask around the guys who know. When I was a young student, I didn't know anything, but 25 years later, I've been through so many talks, I know who the good speakers are. I try to go and listen to the guys that they say new stuff. Then there are a few sessions that are popular, like the recent advances. That's always interesting because it's important guys in the industry, like thinkers, that talk about what may or may not be important in the future. So that's one of the favorites, and it's well attended always. Then it depends on your specialty.
Are there a few other cutting edge topics or sessions that you would like to highlight?
Okay, so this year we have a new one that initially it was called Drone Geophysics. Because it's new, it didn't get a lot of papers, so it's not going to be huge, but hopefully it will grow. It's called now, initially it was called Drone Geophysics, but then people came and they said, well, but we have land robots and we have marine robots. So we changed the name into Unmanned Vehicles, Air, Land, Sea. So that's a little bit like the Navy SEALs, you know, the sea, air, land. That's the anyhow. And Rob Stewart, who's going to be the next president, was the topic chair for that topic. And I was in Barcelona at the AAPG. Actually, Jenny was there as well, and I attended a session. It was a guy, a geologist from Repsol, and he had a super interesting presentation on using drones to map with really high accuracy the terrain. So he had some Google Maps, but he wanted higher accuracy, and he bought a drone, and he flew the drone on a zigzag pattern. And then it turns out that there are several software companies that take the pictures, very high resolution, 20 megapixel picture that a drone takes, and then the drone takes this picture with an overlap. And it also has GPS information, what altitude and what location, XYZ. And these third-party software vendors, you can rent their software for like $200 a month, allow you to take the pictures and build a digital mesh, like a topography map out of pictures, combining all these GPS and picture information. And with very high accuracy, about 5 centimeter per pixel. You know, think about the fact that normally we work with grids that are 10 by 10 meters, not 5 centimeter by 5. So that's pretty amazing. And so I was listening to this talk and I got blown away and I said, wow, this is cool. But now drones are used for a lot more things. For example, let me give you an example. Richard Degner has a new company and they manufacture those nodes that they plant on a grid. And the sensors have a little LED on top that shows the status. That's like red if it's a problem, green, blue, whatever. But they have thousands of them in the field. So how do you look at all these LEDs? Well, they have a guy in a Jeep who drives and looks at that. But if you fly a drone, you can actually see thousands, not 10 at a time. So that's a really interesting application. You know, the other thing is positioning. You can actually see the drones on your mesh because it's a 5 by 5 centimeter mesh, and you have very accurate positioning information. You can actually increase the accuracy by placing a few markers. Let's say you put a tennis ball, an orange tennis ball, and then you take GPS measurements at that location 1,000 times. So now you know where the tennis ball is very accurately. And you include it in your mesh. So you put 4 or 5 of these in your survey, and now you have a survey where you have GPS like at centimeter accuracy. So pretty cool stuff.
Do you see, you know, in addition to maybe these unmanned land and unmanned marine systems, are there other sessions that you see could be a big component of 2018 annual meeting in Anaheim?
Yeah, so there are a few that are always very well attended, and there are a lot of abstracts. So these are always good to track, like the full waveform inversion, FWI, interpretation, reservoir characterization, rock physics, seismic processing, migration. That's all. These are always kind of a lot of abstracts coming and popular and big kind of topics that there's a lot going on. Now, I have one that's close to my heart, which is Geoscientists Without Borders, because I was involved. Sergey Fomel was the technical chairman. So Sergey is my partner here, and he actually was the technical chair a few years ago, I think 2011. And that's the first time he introduced Geoscientists Without Borders. And so I'm always curious to see what goes on there, because I was involved with that, but that's just my personal thing.
Did one or two of them stand out to you in the hundreds of abstracts that you were reading?
Oh, there were tens of them. You would have to give me homework for that. But no, I remember when I was reading them, there were many that were really interesting on a lot of topics on migration, noise attenuation, FWI. You know, Nick Moldovano had a really cool one on how he's using this underwater robots There were very, very many. But
if there's anyone, vacillating between drive there in Houston and attending the SEG annual meeting and the technical program, is there any advice or words of wisdom you could give them to encourage them to come to the technical program?
Well, absolutely. If they're geophysicists, they should come. This is our biggest meeting. It's great for learning what's happening in the industry, new innovation, but it's also great for catching up with your colleagues and seeing what each of them is up to and networking. And, your next job may be somebody that you talk to here. And it's great to see Houston after Harvey. I think, it's like we had the SEG in Katrina, after Katrina in New Orleans. And a lot of people were very thankful from New Orleans that people came. And I think we Houstonians are going to be very thankful for everybody that comes, because it's supporting the local economy. And we're geophysicists. We're strong. We go all over the world and we do crazy stuff. So what's another hurricane that happened a month ago?
I would also like to share a few other highlights at this year's annual meeting. Craig mentioned Geoscientists Without Borders, and there's a chance to hear presentations from current GWB projects during the GWB committee meeting on Monday, September 25th from 4 to 6 p.m. The meeting is open to the public and takes place in the Hilton Americas Hotel in room 336 AB. Anyone who would like to hear what our project teams are doing is welcome to attend. 3 of the latest SEG book authors, Gerard Schuster, Vladimir Grechka, and Werner Heigl, will host a meet and greet on Monday from 10:30 to 11 a.m. in the SEG Book Mart. The SEG Book Mart will be selling our 4 new titles, the 7 titles published last year, and all other classics at their convenient new location on the 3rd floor by the technical session rooms. And celebrate the accomplishments of the next up-and-coming geophysicist at the student commencement on Wednesday at 1 p.m. Students will be recognized for completing the Student Education Program and Student Leadership Symposium, and the Best Student Chapter and Most Improved Student Chapter Awards will be announced. Wednesday at 1 p.m. at the SEG Pavilion on the exhibition floor. Register today for annual meeting at seg.org/am. You can stay connected to the annual meeting on social media before, during, and after by using the hashtag SEG2017. Also remember to download the SEG Events mobile app from the Apple App Store or Google Play Store for the most up-to-date news. Subscribe to Seismic Sound Off on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts to receive the latest episodes first. If you enjoy the show, review us on Apple Podcasts. Your review helps others find the show. Seismic Sound Off is sponsored by the SEG Wiki. Learn more about the Wiki during annual meeting daily from 10:30 to 2:30 in the SEG Pavilion. Visit wiki.seg.org for more details. Original music by Zach Bridges. Special thanks to SEG's Julie McGrath and Beth Donica for their time and work on this episode. We will see you in Houston. Thank you for listening. This is Seismic Sound Off, signaling off.